If Dr. Richard Taylor is not totally off his trolley, then there is going to be a massive case for there being an actual killer, a consultant, established by means of actual direct evidence and not just circumstances, of one of the supposed Lucy Letby murder victims, as I covered in the last video. So that is very possibly going to be strike one. There seems to be a good case for strike two. This is from the sentencing remarks regarding baby C. I'm not going to read all that, you can read it if you want. You were at the side of his incubator when he stopped breathing and his oxygen saturations were very low as a result of you having deliberately infused an excessive amount of air down his nasogastric tube. And that was her conviction as listed in the leave to appeal judgment, murder by air via nasogastric tube. Since which time, as many will know, the chief witness has changed his mind. From The Guardian, Evans told The Guardian he now recognised there were probable medical causes for the air in the stomach seen on the X-ray, including that the baby had not had a bowel movement. What I had not realised, I don't think any of us realised, was that the delayed bowel action was a more important factor in causing the air in the stomach, he said. So he gives his expert opinion, the court accepts it and convicts her on that basis, and then he withdraws his expert opinion. The one thing that jumps straight out from that is that you would think that withdrawing the opinion she was convicted on would lead to a quashing of the conviction and a rethink of the whole thing, and that may well happen. But the real takeaway of the whole unfolding of this thing is it demonstrates how this expert witness, whose opinion, which is now changed, resulted in the convictions, was not looking to get to the bottom of the matter, as would always be the case. He was actually looking to get the woman. From the same article, in a recent interview with The Guardian, Evans admitted he no longer stood by a key diagnosis he produced for the trial. Letby was charged with killing baby C by injecting air down the feeding tube into the stomach. The charge was based on Evans' opinion, stated in a written expert's report that air in the stomach seen on an X-ray taken on 12th of June 2015 had most likely been injected. This is now then key to that particular pronouncement. It emerged at the trial that Letby had not worked at the hospital from the day baby C was born, 10th of June 2015, to the day of the X-ray. And what then actually happened is categorically revelatory. Something like this is what should have happened in the normal course of events. In the light of new evidence, the charge against Letby for the murder of baby C was dropped, and further investigations have not as yet revealed a satisfactory explanation for the cause of death as identified by Evans. That is exactly what you'd expect. The cause of death is as stated. Is it this person's fault? No, they're ruled out. Is it that person's fault? No, they're ruled out. So we carry on looking, ultimately successfully or otherwise, and eliminating this person, that person, this thing, that thing along the way until we get there, if we do successfully get there. That's what you would expect to happen in a process which has the purpose of explaining a death. You establish the hypothesis for the cause and you work towards the culprit, whatever form the culprit may take, a person or just hospital inefficiency, whatever, from that point on. But what actually happened when it turned out that Letby could not have been responsible, if it was as hypothesized by the expert witness, was entirely different. Evans departed from his written opinion when giving evidence in court, saying Letby may have injected air into the baby's vein the following night when she was on shift. If you're looking to get to the bottom of the matter, you don't behave like this. This is the hypothesis, murder by air via nasogastric tube. Along the way, we find person X as possibly responsible, but we eliminate them for whatever reason. And since we've now lost that particular culprit, the logical continuation at that point is to consider other culprits for murder by air via nasogastric tube, but then, failing that, other causes, natural causes, infections, hospital potential inadequacies, whatever else, if the objective is simply to get to the bottom of it. I thought it was this person, that person couldn't have done it because they weren't there, so let's tear the whole thing up and start again. But what did Evans actually do? Again, Evans departed from his written opinion when giving evidence in court, saying Letby may have injected air into the baby's vein the following night when she was on shift. Having eliminated the individual, rather than looking for other potential culprits or a better explanation, you find a way to squeeze the individual you eliminated back into the frame. On a scale of 1 to 10, how likely is it that that is the result of an organically developing investigation into cause? On a scale of 1 to 10, well, it's actually 0. His job was not to look for an explanation. His job was to get the woman. He makes a hypothesis, he then changes it, air in the stomach turns into air into the baby's vein for no discernible reason other than the person he was looking to frame couldn't be framed because they weren't present. It's too much of a coincidence. Otherwise, he makes a finding, he discovers that it exonerates Lucy Letby. Then, by spectacular coincidence, he changes his finding during the court procedure to one that allows her to be incriminated. But not because the objective was to actually get her, but because in that very moment he just happened to change his mind on medical grounds. The chances of that coincidentally happening are worse than the chances of finding one particular grain of sand on 3 beaches. This was never about getting to the cause. This was always about getting the woman, and that absolutely proves it. So all that goes to the fit-up nature of the whole thing. What yields obvious possibilities of actual legal redress, ultimately, is the ditching of the mechanism that led to the murder charge. As in mechanism of murder leading to murder charge, that one there, then mechanism of murder withdrawn in that fashion. That should lead to a rethink and a potential quashing of the conviction. But the playing out of the whole thing proves beyond any doubt that this was an exercise in framing an individual, for whatever reason that might be.